Hi, I'm Shari from OLTD. You know how all those ads and magazine covers on healthy living show somebody on the beach? Maybe they're doing yoga by a sand dune or they're jogging along the surf. Is that your life? That is not my life. My life is sitting here on the cold floor, very far from any beach, squished next to my husband's guitar practice stuff and my dining room table that's currently also acting as my desk as I work from home. And honestly, now that I do work from home, I have found it even harder to make healthy choices with eating and exercise because, the couch is right there and the chips are right over there. Add to that the fact that willpower, consciously exerting energy to make something happen, is a tiny little resource for us humans. Pushing ourselves to do anything at all, even if it's staying calm during a stressful morning, is exhausting. And if we do it for one thing, research shows that we very quickly run out of willpower to do it for something else. So how do we find the energy to make healthy choices? The secret lies in how habits work. It turns out a lot of what we do on a daily basis happens from habit instead of willpower, anywhere from 40 to 90%. We just go about big chunks of our day on automatic without a lot of conscious effort. With habits, we feel somehow worse if we don't do them. So instead of needing to push ourselves to do something, a habit actually pulls us, which is why we might brush our teeth at night instead of just diving into the super comfy bed. If we've made it a habit that we brush our teeth before we go to sleep, the need to do so pulls us and is even stronger than the call of the really fluffy comforter and pillows. So, can we employ the power of habits to make doing things like eating healthy snacks and exercising more automatic? The answer is yes, and I'm going to share a bunch of hints to make that happen. First, a little bit of bad news. It takes 30 to 60 days of repeating something in a structured way for it to become an automatic habit. There's good news though, and that is that there are lots of different ways that we can make that easier. First, we want to determine the specific behavior. So what exactly will you do? So don't say I'm going to exercise more. Say I'm going to walk around the block 3 times. And don't say I'm going to eat better. Say I'm going to eat a handful of almonds every morning. The next thing we need to do is specify the timing. Exactly when will we do it? So not I'll do it in the morning. Instead, I'm going to do this as soon as I get out of bed, or I'm going to do this every day at lunch. And third, we need to determine the trigger. So in other words, what will prompt you that it's time to do that thing, even if you're stressed or distracted or tired? Back when I worked at the office, I had an excellent habit of working out at lunch. And my trigger was hearing other colleagues getting their lunches and chatting. That told me it was time to get up, get away from my desk, and work out. Then I started working from home and I found myself working straight through lunch. I wouldn't even notice it was time to take a break. And by the time I noticed it, I was really hungry and I really needed to get food instead of exercising. And for months, I couldn't figure out what the problem was. I just assumed that I'd go back to exercising because it had been part of my life for so long. Turns out when we go through big changes, we stop doing things on automatic and we need to think through a whole new routine. The changes often disrupt the automatic triggers. And in my case, I lost my trigger when I lost my office. So the whole habit fell apart. And now I need to find new triggers. A trigger can be a time, like at 10 o'clock, I'll eat a healthy snack. And if you tend to lose track of time like me, you can use a time tracking app to help remind you. A trigger can be a feeling, like when I'm starting to feel restless and lose focus. So I have a habit of eating a healthy yogurt mid-morning, and I know it's time when I start to kind of lose my focus and feel that need for a break in the middle of the morning. A trigger can be an event, like when I wake up or right after work. A trigger can be another habit. It's actually a great idea to stack one habit on top of a habit that you already have. So for example, I wanted to start drinking more water. So at night, I'd put a full glass of water right next to my face lotion so that in the morning, when I put on my lotion, which was already a habit of mine, I would go ahead and drink that full glass of water. Okay, now that we have a trigger, we need to determine the reward. We stick with something when there's some kind of immediate reward right after doing the thing. And sometimes the reward is how good it feels to do the thing itself, like walking in the sunshine at lunch during a stressful day or meeting up with a friend to walk. And research shows that even logging what you did in a health journal feels great and reinforces the behavior. So last month, I was determined that I was going to start exercising at lunch again. And even getting to write these X's with a big giant marker was surprisingly a big motivator because I didn't want to see a row of blanks on my sheet. So even when I felt tired or I just didn't feel great, I would do something physical at lunch. And you can see that was my goal. My goal was moving, doing something physical at lunch, whether it was cardio or strength or walking every day of the week. And you're also going to notice I didn't do it every single day of the week, and that's okay. If you miss a day, you just pick up again and you do it the next day. You still get to do the big giant X, and your goal is as many X's as possible, not perfection. And I'll go ahead and link a blank version of this sheet below in case this technique is helpful for you as well. Finally, habit research shows that we're much more likely to do something if we make it easier for ourselves by removing obstacles ahead of time. So for example, laying out our gym clothes the night before, so the very first thing we see in the morning and we kind of just groggily put them on without even thinking about it. The bottom line is, for those of us who are not living at the beach where maybe the sunrise calls us to do yoga in the morning, habits truly are the key to incorporating healthy living in our lives. And if we do it consistently in the beginning by following these tips, it really can become automatic and it can pull us in even more strongly than the couch and the chips.